All right, hi guys. Going to do a set, or at least I'm giving you a set of short questions on transformation geometry. Well, first of all, to try and work through this whole video system, I have kind of fashioned a visualizer using my phone and a bit of string and a phone holder. It might rock a bit, but at least I'll be able to do a video. To be honest, I think the camera is nearly clearer than the visualizer in school. But anyway, the point is that I'll be teaching you through video. You'll go do it whenever you can. And that the documents, or at least the questions, will be available to you on Google Classroom and you'll be able to print them. Now, if you can't print, yeah, that could be tricky, all right, but you might be able to attempt to do some of the questions anyway by just drawing from what you're seeing on the printable on the screen. Okay, so whenever you can do it, that's fine. So I'm just going to start working through these. So I suppose, kind of like in school, let's figure out what it is we're doing, when we're doing it, how we're doing it, etc. So first of all, and I'm going to zoom in on the very first question here, we're doing, yeah, you can see the camera rocking there now, we're doing transformation geometry questions. Okay, a topic that is not new to you, and these are all short questions. So they are short questions. From the ordinary level paper. So the plan is to kind of work up towards higher. We need to get together, we're a bit behind. Short questions from ordinary level. Okay, and I'm going to work through them as if this was a single class and we were in school. And this was the visualizer. Now I know you can't ask questions, but equally, I don't have to tell you to be quiet. All right, so short questions. So question 4. Now, there's a reason, of course, why the numbers aren't like question 1, question 2, question 3. It's because in 2019, question 4 was a transformation geometry question. Let's have a look at what they gave us. It says figure 1 shows a logo for a makeup counter inscribed in the square ABCD. So ABCD is a square. So I suppose if you are trying to do this and you can't print out the questions, start by drawing a square ABCD. It doesn't really matter what size it is. I suppose if you want an idea of how big it is, it is, where's my 0? There's 0. It is around 60 millimeters. If you made it 60 millimeters, you wouldn't be going too far around. That'd be fine. All right, so a logo for a makeup counter inscribed in the square ABCD. So what we have to do is we have to examine, first of all, the light lines. Where do they get the light lines for? What do they use them for, etc. So I need to point my pencil, and as usual, with particularly at ordinary level, with short questions at ordinary level, really you are redrawing for the most part what they gave you. Okay, so I'm allowed to use yellow, and you can't see yellow usually at school, so I assume you can't see it now. So I'm going to put in the construction lines. In general, I will be drawing construction lines in color and answers in pencil. All right, so let's have a look. So they've done a bit for us. They've 2 lines gone in, but they don't have a line there drawn from A to C. So in I'll go drawing a line from A to C. Okay, light line, it's a construction line. There it is, gone in. Now, the next thing they have done is they have a horizontal line through the center. Now, there's a touch of adjustable set squares or sliding set squares required here. So I'm going to line up one set square. Actually, and that's why I've given you, by the way, short questions. You should be able to do these by and large with only a little bit of equipment. Now, if you have more, that would be great. But you probably don't. So anyway, so I'm lining up DC with a set square, sliding up to meet, trying to keep everything as accurate as I can, regardless what's going on at the moment. Our accuracy hasn't changed. We need still to be accurate no matter what. So that line goes in, sliding set squares. Okay, and then next line they have in there is from this point down the middle out to the corner. Okay, and do they have one of them at the other side? Do you know they don't? So we're not going to need it. All right, so there's my light lines. Now, if I look at that carefully, and even if I look at it fairly quickly, not even carefully, the horizontal line there, they're parallel, and where does it go? Oh look, it goes through the X, so that line. So out with my pencil now at this stage because I'm ready to continue on, and again trying to keep everything tidy. So sliding set squares, Actually, while I'm on the subject of set squares, I actually managed to get myself some this morning. Now, these are small ones I'm using now, but I hadn't any big ones at home. But I got them in, no, I don't know, of course, if this is in Tralee. I'm Limerick bound, of course. I got them in Mr. Price in Anacotti. Now, I presume they might have Mr. Price in Roxburgh as well, but I did get set squares. Anyway, there's my first line. Keeping it horizontal, going from point to point. Then what happens at that stage? Now I'm going to use my slide and set squares again to finish the base section. And because I'm putting in an answer, I'm putting it in heavy. I'm keeping it as tidy as I can. So far, so good. Now, you might think you should put in this section next here, as in this point, and join it up. But you can't actually until, and actually as you glance it, you'll realise that very quickly, you can't until you find that point. Now, finding that point is a little bit trickier, because the only way to find it is to draw that curve at the top. So out with the compass. Where is the center point? Okay, let's remember everything we've ever done before. I have always said to you to highlight the center points, that there's marks for them in their own right. So there's my center point. Open the compass. Where do I open the compass to? Just the top of the square there. Here it is. Okay, and when I do that, and then I draw in the top of the shape, I can now finish my logo. And there we go. And shade it in. We're in the habit of making things look nice and clear. So I'm going to shade it in. There's my logo. Now that took a lot longer to do than I would expect to take inside an exam. So far, so good. Okay. Alright, so next question then. So again, it's question 4, which is interesting. It's 2018. And let me just push it up. Okay, there we go. It is, again, a logo. Same sort of story, but in the lines, draw the question. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. So there's that one done. Done the same way, so I just forwarded on the video there so you can see the solution. So that was 2018. Now 2017 is a bit more interesting, and I'm going to do a bit of explaining on this one. This is a logo for a badminton club. Complete the design on the logo. Now this is an axial symmetry. Okay, and if you remember axial symmetries and the last time we were talking about symmetries, you may remember that I said that this was the same as a mirror image. Okay, so let's write it in. Let's put in a few notes here. Mirror image. So the other thing you might remember is I said that when you're in primary school, chances are your primary school teacher got you to get a piece of paper and put a blob of paint on it and to fold that paper in half and then open it up, and you were looking at some kind of a butterfly type shape. Okay, same is true with this. This is what's going on here in axial symmetry. Basically, we need to reflect this shape through the axis, because that's the axis there, that line, out the other side by the same amount. Now, this is fairly easy to do, or at least it's easy on this particular question. They've kept it fairly simple. All right, so each line needs to get extended through. Now, I'm going to use sliding set screws to keep it nice and accurate. So I'm into the realm of the light lines for the moment. So a light line through from the axis, a light line through here as well. Now, I haven't my page stuck down, which is why it keeps moving. Maybe I should stick it down. So I push it through the axis, out the other side, and I don't need to do the top. What do I do next? I get my compass, because with axial symmetry, it's all about the measurements. I put my compass on the axis, on the center of the line. I open the compass out to each point. So in this case, it's this point. And I reflect the measurement to the other side of the axis. So the measurement here is the same as the measurement here. I do the same on this line. So everything has come through the mirror and out the other side. Now the smaller measurement there is quite an awkward one. So you could measure it, or you could do it by eye. I'm going to do it by eye. I should probably measure it really. Measurement here, I suspect, and I am wrong. Oh yeah, sorry. The measurement there is the same as that one. So there's actually 3 on this line, 3 points. Now, you will remember when we did these, I got you to number all the points every time, and you could certainly do that here, but I think this isn't so complicated that we need to number it. Okay, so it opens to there. Now, the circle is the same size, so the circle I can actually just start and draw it in. There's the top of the badminton stick. Now, there it is. And then all I do is I finish off the shape. So back in here now with my set squares. Nice heavy lines all around, nice tidy lines. You know the sort of thing we're after. Oh, I never reflected over that point. So let me do the outside one. Back out my compass. Again, it's quite a small one. There it is. And there is finished question. So that was 2017 transformation geometry. And it was axial symmetry. And then you were asked to color or shade the completed logo. So we know how to color and we know how to shade. I should probably use a few different colors, I don't know. Okay, now number 10, similar. Okay, Right, so the figure shows the incomplete outline of a toy trumpet. I was reading it there for a second. Also shows a 3D model, complete the drawing, show no construction. So basically this is axial symmetry again. Now I know the trumpet has this little hook, arm, thingy, whatever, holder at one side, and it's not going to be at the other, but basically what they're trying to do is for you to find the radius point. So actually it's quite simple. This is a very quick one even. So you're going to take that central point of the circle, point R, radius line, and you are going to reflect that point through the axis. There's my axis again, out the other side, the same distance. So again, compass goes down on the point, compass opens up to the center of the circle, or the center of the circle. There, rotate, mark, and there is my new center point. And like I've always said to you before, the minute you have a center point of a circle, highlight it, mark it. So a nice little X on it. Where do I open it to? Well, I don't know, but I do know it's the same side as this one. So I set my compass again to this one and rotate and draw the little circle. And that's all that's needed in that. So much less there. So that's 2016. Okay, moving on. We are on to 2016. So okay, there was 2 kind of transformation geometry questions that year. So 2016 had 2. Anyway, question 15 that year had a railway logo, complete the design, constructing an axial symmetry. So look, there it is again, axial symmetry mirror image in the line LL1. So line L1 is the symmetry line. So I will draw that in. And there it is. And now I will continue on with the axial symmetry. Okay, that's that one. Next, 2013. Another axial symmetry. Okay, another axial symmetry, which means put in the axis. Now, quite a simple one. I hope you think that. Diagram shows the hands of a clock reading 9 o'clock. Rotate the minute hand about the point P until the clock reads 9:15. So it says to rotate it. So first of all, we know anyway that 9:15 is on a horizontal line across from 9 o'clock. But they said to rotate it. So in other words, move the hand through the same pattern that all the hands go through. In other words, they all rotate about point P. They all twist around point P. So the top of the arrow, there it is, rotate it. That's where it ends up. Turn it down. And that's the next one. And yeah, you don't necessarily have to measure the hand, but looking at it, it is about 2 millimeters at each side. So draw it in correctly then, nice and tidy. And quickly. Now, you'll have noticed that all these questions are nice and quick. None of them are terribly difficult. I sped up some parts of the video there because there was no point explaining the same thing over and over again for the same question. Ideally, I'd like you to try these without looking at the solutions. You might watch the video, all right, yeah, and then have a go to the questions. But my aim from here on in is to try and do both long questions and short questions in this manner. Answering them in a video, explaining them in a video, putting that video on YouTube, because if it's on YouTube, even if your Wi-Fi isn't great, you'll be able to access it and look at them. Okay, now this was a relatively easy set of questions and there wasn't very many notes I needed to add, or I had very little detail to do, but these videos and this information and this stuff will get a lot more detailed in the next few weeks. All right, so have a go, see how you get on. Best of luck.